Have you ever paused to consider why so many older adults gradually fade away before they reach the age of 82, even though they appeared healthy just a few years earlier? It's not always due to heart disease, cancer, or some sudden tragic event. No, it's something far more subtle and astonishingly overlooked. My name is Dr. James, and I specialize in men's health. For over 3 decades, I've dedicated my career to helping seniors not just live longer, but live better. Through years of hands-on experience, treating thousands of individuals and diving into extensive research, I've discovered patterns that most medical professionals tend to overlook. What if I told you that one of the strongest indicators of long life after the age of 60 isn't reflected in your cholesterol stats, blood pressure results, or even your exercise routine? Rather, it's connected to something that is rarely discussed and often abandoned by seniors out of fear, discomfort, or misinformation. Today, I want to reveal a hidden element that plays a vital role in keeping you energized, independent, and mentally sharp well into your 80s, 90s, and even beyond. And here's the most encouraging part. You don't need costly prescriptions, grueling fitness programs, or complex dietary plans. You already have this ability within you. It just needs to be reawakened. Stay with me, because in just a few moments, I'll show you clear, practical steps you can begin using today to restore your vitality. I believe the final part of this message might completely transform the way you perceive aging. But before we dive deeper, if you haven't already done so, I invite you to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you don't miss essential health insights meant to keep you strong, energized, and self-reliant. If this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. And if there's something you think we could improve, type ZO. Your input allows us to support your health journey even more effectively. Now that you understand just how critical this overlooked piece of your health truly is, let's begin by identifying one of the most silent yet damaging issues seniors face today. It's a quiet crisis, one that saps energy, drains strength, and cuts life short before its time. The disconnection from physical pleasure. Yes, this is the silent epidemic affecting so many seniors, becoming detached from their sense of physical joy. As I sit across from men and women in their 70s and 80s, I often notice a subtle sorrow in their expression. A quiet acceptance that life has become smaller, colder, and less emotionally engaging. Throughout the years, I've recognized one of the most overlooked yet powerful shifts that takes place as people grow older. A slow separation from their own physical bodies, from the sensations that once made them feel so fully alive. This isn't something most older adults discuss openly. Yet it's happening all around us, quietly draining vitality from people without their awareness. At some point, society began whispering a destructive message into our ears, that intimacy, affection, and physical expression belong only to the young. That after a certain age, we're expected to shut the door on this very human part of ourselves. Sadly, many seniors take this message to heart, assuming that to seek or enjoy physical pleasure is somehow inappropriate, shameful, or simply no longer within reach. Some individuals retreat due to physical limitations, others because of emotional wounds or past losses, and many more because they simply don't realize that staying connected to the body is not just possible, but essential for lifelong wellness. What most people fail to recognize is that this gradual detachment can trigger a quiet but steady decline. Without consistent stimulation, circulation to critical organs starts to diminish. The neural connections tied to pleasure begin to weaken. Hormone levels shift in unfavorable ways. Bit by bit, the body's resilience declines, not only in sexual function but in emotional, cognitive, and physical strength as well. Sleep quality suffers, mood becomes unstable, and energy begins to fade. As time passes, even the immune system starts to falter, and the chances of chronic health conditions such as heart disease, dementia, and depression silently increase. I've observed this firsthand countless times. Men and women who were once full of life gradually losing their vitality. Not because of a failing heart or brittle bones, but because the very essence that sustained them was left unattended. It is no overstatement to say that physical intimacy, whether shared with another or experienced alone, is a cornerstone of human vitality. Letting it go due to fear, embarrassment, or mistaken beliefs doesn't just rob us of joy, it takes away precious years. But there is hope. Re-establishing a connection with your physical self and reviving those long dormant sensations can launch a deep healing process that goes far beyond what many anticipate. It's never too late to rediscover what your body is still able to offer. In fact, this rediscovery might be the exact key to better overall health, improved memory, and stronger emotional stability than you ever imagined. But what exactly gives physical pleasure such a unique power in preserving your brain, your heart, and even your independence? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could challenge everything you've believed about the aging process. If you're still reading and these insights are resonating with you, I'd love for you to type 1 in the comments to show you're walking this path alongside me. Now, let's move forward and explore the transformative truth found in point number 2. 2. Why masturbation after the age of 60 plays a vital role in long-term health. Over the years, I've witnessed subtle yet meaningful shifts in the lives of patients who maintained a connection to their bodies as they aged. One truth stood out above the rest: preserving physical pleasure, including private sexual expression, is not a luxury. It's a key pillar of sustained well-being and longevity. This may be unexpected, especially if your upbringing taught you to view this subject with shame or discomfort. But biology speaks louder than societal norms, and its message is clear. As we move past 60, the body naturally experiences a reduction in blood flow, hormonal output, muscle integrity, and neurological responsiveness. Yet studies have shown that consistent self-pleasure can help counter many of these effects. When a senior engages in sexual activity, even alone, the body responds in incredible ways. Circulation increases throughout the brain, heart, and limbs, delivering vital nourishment to areas that might otherwise begin to weaken. The release of endorphins into the bloodstream helps ease stress and promotes deeper, more restful sleep. Testosterone levels experience a gentle rise, supporting the preservation of muscle strength, bone integrity, and emotional stability, all essential elements of healthy aging. Even more remarkable is the effect on the brain. Neuroscientific research has shown that sexual stimulation activates multiple brain areas at once, preserving neural circuits linked to memory, emotional balance, and decision-making. To put it simply, it helps the brain remain youthful, adaptable, and fully engaged. I've observed that individuals who continue this practice often demonstrate clearer thinking, increased imagination, and a noticeably more optimistic view on life, compared to those who gradually withdraw from physical intimacy. But beyond the biological advantages, there's something profoundly emotional happening as well. Engaging in self-pleasure after age 60 becomes a personal affirmation, an acknowledgement that your body is still deserving of kindness, connection, and joy. It directly challenges the false narrative that growing older means fading into obscurity. On the contrary, it powerfully reminds you that life can still be felt deeply, vividly, and intimately. This renewed self-connection often sparks positive changes across other areas of life. Healthier eating choices, a fresh interest in social engagement, and even more motivation to move, stretch, and stay active. When patients ask me if it's too late to reignite this aspect of their being, I always respond with compassion but certainty. It is never too late. Your body may require more time, greater tenderness, and increased patience, but it remains capable of delivering rich, fulfilling sensations that uplift your spirit and enhance your health in ways that may surprise you. Now, you might be thinking, if the advantages are so meaningful, why do so many older adults find it difficult to keep this connection alive? The truth lies in a series of quiet but deeply rooted myths, and that's precisely what we're going to explore next. 3 widespread misconceptions that drain vitality from seniors. Over the course of my career, I've come to recognize just how frequently vibrant, capable individuals fall victim to silent beliefs that gradually erode their energy and joy. In many cases, they don't even notice it's happening until one morning they wake up feeling like a distant version of who they once were. These aren't just harmless errors in thinking. They're powerful, unseen forces that lead seniors to give up one of their most life-giving sources of happiness and health. One of the most heartbreaking misconceptions is the belief that after a certain birthday, physical pleasure no longer holds value. I've heard this far too often. Someone softly saying, "I'm too old for that," with a look of resignation. But the reality is, aging does not erase your body's longing for closeness or its capacity to experience it. What aging does is transform how that need is expressed. Abandoning this part of your identity because it seems unimportant is like living in a house and never turning on the lights. You may survive, but you'll be missing the warmth, the color, and the beauty that make life worth living. Another damaging belief is the notion that finding pleasure alone is somehow inappropriate or embarrassing. Many people grew up in a time when self-touch was spoken about in hushed tones, often viewed with shame or labeled as a moral weakness. Those early messages can become deeply ingrained, forming layers of guilt that persist well into the later stages of life. But let me say this plainly and with complete compassion. Caring for your own body is not something to be ashamed of. It is a vital way to honor your existence, your well-being, and your inner self. There's also a widespread but harmful belief that conserving sexual energy somehow preserves physical strength. In truth, the opposite is often true. Engaging in regular sexual activity, including solo experiences, keeps the body functioning optimally, enhancing hormonal balance, maintaining healthy blood flow, and protecting tissue vitality. Just like an unused muscle weakens over time, the parts of our body connected to pleasure also require consistent attention to remain active and strong. Arguably, the most dangerous misconception of all is the idea that sexual wellness stands apart from overall health. The two are intricately connected, woven together in ways that modern medical science is only beginning to fully comprehend. When you nurture one, you simultaneously support the other. But when either is ignored, both begin to deteriorate. Recognizing these mistaken beliefs is the first and most important step toward reclaiming the energetic, fulfilling life still available to you. However, awareness alone is not enough. What you need now is a practical, realistic approach to rekindle your connection with your body in ways that feel respectful, safe, and authentic. And that is exactly where we're going next. If you're still reading and finding value in this message, I invite you to type the number 1 in the comments to show that you're following along. Now, let's take the next step and look at what's waiting for us in point number 4. 4. The restoration method, restoring sexual vitality through intentional steps. When I began working with older patients who wanted to reconnect with their physical selves, I quickly discovered that encouragement alone was not enough. What they truly needed was a roadmap, not just general advice or hopeful thinking, but a practical step-by-step guide they could trust. That's how the restoration method was developed. It's a carefully structured system made especially for aging bodies. It honors the natural changes that occur with time, while gently reigniting the essential connection between body and mind that often fades with age. The first phase is preparation. Before anything else, it's important to create an environment where you feel secure, relaxed, and undisturbed. Set the room to a comfortable temperature. Find a supportive chair or bed and have a quality lubricant nearby. These seemingly small steps send a clear and empowering signal to your body. You are worthy, and your wellness deserves care. After preparation comes relaxation. This process should not feel like a task or a performance. Begin by breathing deeply, allowing your muscles to release and your heartbeat to slow. Picture the tension slowly leaving your body, like grains of sand slipping through open hands. This quiet state of awareness can unlock sensations you may have thought were gone forever. Next comes awakening. This is where you begin to gently engage with parts of your body you may have overlooked for years. The inner thighs, your lower abdomen, your chest. Touch these areas with interest and kindness rather than criticism. Pay attention to how your body responds, even in the subtlest ways. These reactions are gentle reminders that your body is still vibrant and ready to reconnect with you. What follows next is focused stimulation. Without any pressure or expectation, you begin to introduce more intentional touch, allowing arousal to develop naturally at its own pace. Moving slowly and attentively, rather than rushing, opens up a deeper level of sensation that is often lost in fast or distracted experiences. The goal is not to reach a specific outcome. It's about embracing the journey your body is still able to take you on. Then comes the phase of integration. This is your time to pause, breathe deeply, and appreciate yourself for choosing to nurture your own well-being. Allow yourself to truly feel alive, no matter how gentle or powerful that sensation may be. In this quiet moment of self-recognition, the healing process begins to take root. This method isn't about trying to relive the past. It's about fully accepting who you are today, with all the wisdom, strength, and gentleness that come from your life's experience. And once you feel even the slightest spark of reconnection, you'll begin to see the incredible potential still waiting inside of you. However, even with the right steps in place, the path isn't always smooth. There are common setbacks that can easily throw you off course. In the next part, I'll guide you through how to avoid the mistakes that many older adults unknowingly make, so you can continue moving towards sustained vitality. 5. Overcoming challenges. What to anticipate and how to succeed. Each time I support someone using the restoration method, I always remind them that meaningful transformation is rarely a straight road. It's completely normal to encounter periods of doubt, frustration, or emotional resistance. I've seen it happen repeatedly, not due to a lack of motivation, but because people often fall into hidden patterns that make the process harder than necessary. Understanding what lies ahead and how to navigate it can be the difference between giving up and unlocking a renewed sense of energy and health. One of the most frequent obstacles is unrealistic expectations. Many seniors believe that if they follow the process correctly, they should instantly feel the way they did decades ago. When those immediate results don't show up, disappointment can take over. But here's the truth. Your body has changed, and that's not a flaw. It's simply part of living. Success now is not measured by intensity, but by how deeply you reconnect with comfort, presence, and sensation. Even subtle improvements are proof that healing is happening beneath the surface. Another common issue is inconsistency. Just like rebuilding muscle strength or improving flexibility, re-establishing your sensual awareness requires steady attention. Doing it only now and then, when you happen to feel like it, is similar to watering a plant once a month and expecting it to thrive. Set aside time 2 or 3 times per week, not out of obligation, but as a gesture of respect toward yourself. Your body will respond to this care in quiet, powerful ways. Yet another challenge is performance pressure. When your mind fixates on achieving a specific result, it triggers tension and restricts the very muscles and circulation you need to keep relaxed. Release the expectation that every session must conclude in a specific way. Focus on the experience. Moments of pleasure, no matter how gentle, are achievements to be honored, not measured against youthful memories. And finally, be aware that shame can quietly linger in the background, subtly weakening your progress. Many people carry long-held buried emotions that whisper, "This isn't right," or "I shouldn't need this." If those thoughts surface, meet them with empathy rather than criticism. Remind yourself that desiring pleasure is neither selfish nor foolish. It is a meaningful way to respect the remarkable body you still live in. Pushing through these emotional blocks isn't always simple, but it is profoundly worthwhile. Every small action you take, every moment of kindness and patience with yourself, strengthens not just your sexual well-being, but your entire emotional and spiritual core. As your confidence grows, you may find yourself ready to take an even bigger step: the full renewal of your energy and health through a practical yet life-changing approach, crafted especially for this chapter of your journey. Prepare yourself, because what I'm about to reveal could be the most powerful turning point you've ever encountered. Conclusion: reclaim your right to thrive. As we arrive at the end of this journey together, I want to leave you with this truth. Your body, your well-being, and your right to experience joy through pleasure do not fade with time. They may transform, but they are still very much alive. Reclaiming this part of who you are isn't about longing for your younger days. It's about celebrating the life force that still exists within you, the strength that carried you through decades of trials, and the inner resilience that never gave up. I've watched individuals in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s reignite a spark they assumed was gone forever. In doing so, they discovered renewed vitality, deeper confidence, and genuine happiness. You are worthy of that too. And it all begins with a decision: to believe you are still strong, still worthy, and still vibrantly alive. Start with small steps. Stay consistent. Be gentle with yourself. And remember, every time you reconnect with your body, you move closer to a future filled not just with more time, but with more meaning in every moment. Your story is still unfolding. Choose today to write it with purpose, strength, and the fullness you were always meant to live.